This may go horribly wrong or it's going to be amazing. I'm going to attempt to embroider logos on 3 t-shirts in only 1 hoop. Hi, I'm Sarah from sewingmastery.com, and we do free video tutorials on sewing machines, embroidery machines, and right now we are working on the Husqvarna Viking Designer Epic 3, but I had some new shirts arrived. By the way, Lands End does a wonderful job if you're looking for t-shirts without like printed logos of the t-shirt company on the front or on the sleeves, so it makes it really a nice blank canvas. Now we have done a how to embroider t-shirts video before, which we'll link right up here if you want to check that out, but we're going to use some of the new features on this machine, and I have seen this process happen, and I do recommend it when it makes sense, and that's why I've never actually done it or done it on something this big and this small of hoop. So what we're talking about is taking a logo and adding it to the left chest, as they say, right where you pledge the allegiance. That's what you want to go for. But when you have multiples to do, such as like stocking hats or even mittens, if you want to put names of teammates and put their initials on all the edges of the mittens, instead of wasting stabilizer and every time that you stitch a name, you're hooping a new piece, what you can do is work from the bottom up and layer your projects. So today it's going to be t-shirts. I feel like I can get 3 in here. I'm going to put the first one way down here at the bottom and stitch it, and then I'm going to move the logo up, put my next t-shirt here, and then do the third one towards the top. I do know that this is not a lot of weight, so that is one thing to kind of keep in mind. If the items you're embroidering are really heavy, that you might not want to load it up as much, but I don't feel this is really too much for this machine to handle at all. So like I said, I've seen, especially with like small names or like monograms or numbers of the team. So if you had a soccer team and you're doing hats for everybody, you can do number 1, 2, 3 and everybody's team number on that hat and get quite a few of them. What you're going to do is kind of layer them on top of each other, and depending on the item, you might start from the top and work your way down. But for today, I feel the t-shirts are going to come towards me, so I'm going to start here with the first one. Now before I get started, I always keep these logos close by, so that means I keep my designs I always use on the My SewNet cloud. So at any given time or at any given Wi-Fi compatible Husqvarna Viking, I can log in and I have this logo everywhere I go. If you want to learn more about the My SewNet and all the free things that come with your machine, check out our Husqvarna Viking Bootcamp online course. Over 6 hours of information of everything that we don't cover in the free video tutorials. And this was all included with your machine. And one of our taglines for that course is that there's absolutely no supply list because everything came with your machine. But when I went to find my folder, I realized I had multiple sizes of this design. So I'm going to quick take you on a small little tip of figuring out which design is which size. And I know people ask me this a lot because when you pull up a design, it doesn't really tell you the size here. It tells you like where it's located in the hoop, like it's 20 this way and up this far. And that's not how big it is, that's where it's located. So I'm going to start by deleting this one, and I'm going to walk you through the steps that I took for finding my designs. Start with the folder, and then on the file manager, your My SewNet designs all come up. I usually like to have them by the words because there's so many of folders of designs and things that I like to keep at my fingertips. And so down towards the bottom here, by alphabetical order, we have these Sewing Mastery logos. So as we open them, again, I said there was lots of sizes, and when I touched the show me what the pictures are, I could tell really quick that I'm going to have to figure out which one of those was the best one for my shirt. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So we're going to open up all 3 of them. And I've zoomed in just a little bit so you can really see that there are differences between all 3. So to see how long they actually are and how tall they are, most of the time when you select the design, the moving option is selected. So these numbers are not sizes, but again, locations. But if you switch over to the sizing or scaling option, what you have as numbers here is the size of the design. And I think I forget that from time to time, and I get frustrated and I'm like, wait, there's a way to see the size. So at any given time, if you touch and select the design, it will tell you the size we need. So this really big one is 120 millimeters, and that's actually more than my shirt can handle. So I'm going to delete that one. This one is actually quite short, so it's only 13 millimeters tall, so it's going to get lost on the shirt. So I know that's not the one that I use, leaving us with one that's approximately 115 millimeters by 20 millimeters tall. So just a nice logo size for something like this that's kind of long and skinny. And I said we're going to work from the bottom up, so I'm going to just start by moving this all the way down to the lower edge. Let's turn on our projector. And we have done a video on mastering the projector because it does have a few things that makes people kind of wonder how this works, and it kind of confused me at the beginning as well. So again, we'll link to a video up here on using the Husqvarna Viking Designer Epic 3 projector. I'm going to start with the red shirt just because I think it's going to show the most here. So I'm going to kind of twist it inside out so I can kind of get this laid down. I've hooped up the no-show mesh, a cutaway stabilizer, 2 layers, and gave it a little 505 spray adhesive. Now, if you are not comfortable with like all your stabilizers and needles and everything you need to know before you actually start embroidering, that is why we have the Machine Embroidery 101 course. 4 hours of information to really help you get going and know the foundation of how to be a successful embroiderer from day one. You'll find links to all of our courses in the description below, plus there's free videos that you can watch to see if that course is right for you. Using the projector helps me kind of see where I am going to be stitching and helps me get in the nearby vicinity of where I'm going to stitch. Now I will be using the exact positioning, or better known as the design positioning function, once we get over to the stitch out screen to make sure that I am exactly where I need to be. You might be able to see that I have some multiple lines drawn, and I need to make sure I'm going to pick the right one for my center of my design so everything lines up. I tend to have some broader shoulders, so anytime I draw with the lines, I always try it on and make sure that my lines aren't tilted because of the way the shirt is hanging. So after I drew my lines, I tried it on and adjusted just a little bit based on how it's going to sit on my own body. And I recommend that you do the same. Always take the time to try it on before you stitch. Touch stitch out. Confirm you have everything on that you're supposed to. And then go over to exact positioning. Now, if you haven't mastered this part of your machine, we have an entire course called the Husqvarna Viking Design Positioning Masterclass, which we have helped over 1,000 people master this function on various machines. And to make that entire project, there's multiple hoopings that help you get comfortable with working with this particular function of your machine. I'm going to start by selecting the center of the design and going over to step 2. Next, I'll use the arrows to move the design up or down, and I still have the projection showing, so I'll get to also see where it's going to stitch, giving me a new level of perfection that I've never had before. After getting everything lined up, I'm happy where it is, and before I go to stitch out, there'll be a couple things I'm going to do. Number 1, I'll be adding a piece of water-soluble stabilizer to help keep the design from sinking into the nice delicateness of this fabric, and I'm going to use a basting in the hoop feature to hold it in place, and then also to attach the t-shirt to the stabilizer so nothing moves while it's stitching the logo. Here we go, t-shirt 1 of 3. I am a fan of also turning off the thread cutter when I do logos or something I'm going to really see the back of, so there's not all the tails as it goes from letter to letter, kind of as a messy looking back. Now the moment of truth. Am I able to slide all this fabric this way, move the design up to more of a middle part of the screen, and get my next shirt going, all while being at the embroidery stitch out screen? So if you go to exact positioning, You have the option to move the design any place that you want in step number 2. So I'm going to just kind of get it up into this general field that we'll be working with. And we still have the projector on. So as soon as I put my new shirt on, I can kind of see that it's projecting down already. I think this is going to work out perfect. We're going to place the first shirt more in front of the hoop, lay the next one down, and get ready to get it all lined up. So far, so good. It's time for shirt number 3. Wow, look at all that room. I definitely could have probably squished in a few more shirts if I had more to do. But today, we still just needed to get 3 done. There's the third and final message that the embroidery is finished, and let's see if this turned out. I feel it did. I feel very accomplished because I saved a lot of stabilizer. And we have shirt 1, we have shirt 2 somewhere down in here. And shirt 3. So maybe better to look at it all on the back. So yes, I could have definitely got a little bit closer. I probably could have gotten a few more. Remember, you do have about an inch margin up here that this is not an embroiderable field. So yeah, 2 more shirts, 5 total, and only using this size of stabilizer. Remember, it is doubled. That really proves that you can save stabilizer if you're willing to learn a few things about your machine and have done a few projects like this before. So this was not my first t-shirt, not my first rodeo. And I think we're ready to go ahead, take the stabilizer off, and then of course take out the basting stitches where we basted it into and onto the hoop. And then I am going to wash these, and then so all the marks go away. So before I wear them, that will be the one thing that I will do. I did use a blue washout marker, so I definitely don't want to like iron them or anything just yet, but I know a full wash will take out all the marks that I had made. So I'm very excited to have successfully made 3 shirts in 1 hooping. I invite you to check out all of our online courses and other great tip videos that we have on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure as you watch our videos, if they have been helpful, that you're clicking like. That's your way of saying thank you for the free information. Happy sewing, everyone!